Good afternoon, ladies, and welcome to a very special episode of She Is Me. As you know, this is the last this is the last Sunday of the month, and I am ending my October awareness with domestic violence. The guest that we have here today has been through it. She's been through it and she's gotten through it. Please help me welcome for the first time telling her story. Please help me welcome to the She Is Me platform, Miss Kristy Teal.
Hi.
Hi, so glad to have you here, Miss Kristy Teal. Have a seat.
Thank you.
And welcome to the show. Make yourself comfortable.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you for coming. Okay, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for using the She Is Me platform to tell your story for the very first time. You nervous? You comfortable?
I am. I'm comfortable. I'm nervous. I'm all that.
All types of feeling. We'll just make yourself at home. This is a little couch time, just talking about what you've been through. As I told my audience, this is ending domestic violence. This is ending October Awareness Month, and my last segment for She Is Me for October is the domestic violence. And I just want to ask you a few questions about what you went through, how you got through, and how you felt when you were going through. Is that okay?
That's fine.
That's fine. Okay. Well, my first question is, when did it start? How old were you when you first experienced a domestic violence relationship?
I was approximately, I'm going to say maybe in my 30s.
Your 30s, your early 30s?
My early 30s, yes, middle 30s.
Okay, and how did it start?
Actually, I met the young man at a facility where I worked, which was a prison.
Okay.
It wasn't nothing that was intentionally supposed to happen
Right.
or anything. It just happened, and I was the head laundry officer, and it was up to me to go out and choose the inmates to come and do everybody else's laundry within the facility, and he
Okay.
was one of the ones that was chosen.
Okay, that's what I was wanting to ask you. So he wasn't an employee, he was an inmate then.
He was an inmate.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. And then, so how did it go on from there?
Well, actually, he was one of the ones that was chosen, and he was good at working in the laundry, getting the clothes done, making sure that I didn't have no worries as
Right.
far as somebody's being left out or going to the cells getting everybody's clothes.
Right.
And I just kept him on from the time he made it to the laundry until time for us to depart.
Okay. And so when you say depart, that meant when you got off that evening?
Yes.
And then until you came back to work then? Okay, so clearly the violence didn't start when he was locked up, so he eventually got released.
Right, he got released. I had taken off work because at that time feelings had already occurred or whatever, and I stayed in contact. We stayed in contact with each other, and I was the one that went and picked him up from the bus station once he was released, because he was then out doing his term.
Right.
As far as parole goes, so
Okay.
I did against all odds.
Right.
I did.
Right. Because you thought he was a good guy.
Right, then he was.
Okay, because you thought he was,
Right.
then he was. That's what he showed you. That's what he portrayed to be a good guy.
Right.
Okay, so after he was released and everything, you guys got to know each other a little better, started dating.
Yes, we did. We got to know each other. I met his family, he met mine. Everything seemed peaches and cream, no problems. He was the typical man, I guess you could say, that I was probably looking for at
Right.
that time. Vulnerable and
Right.
just being mean, nice,
Right.
kind-hearted person.
Right.
But I am thinking everybody deserves a second chance in life, and
And
he
it's
was
so-
one of those that fell through that hole
Right.
that I thought deserved a second chance at life.
Yeah, and it's so sad that we as women sometimes we sit up and we want to help, especially these men or whatever that we feel like had a rough life or had a hard time or whatever, needs to be given a second chance, and then we the ones that fall prey to their abuse and the physical and mental abuse.
Right.
We're the ones that fall prey to it. So your relationship continued on. How long were you in a relationship before the abuse started?
I would say I was in a relationship for maybe I'm gonna say approximately, give or take, 6 months prior to his being released
Okay.
from the facility. And once we moved in together, things just started
Going
to
downhill.
escalate and going downhill little by little. It took a minute for me to realize what was going on, but
Right.
then I picked up on small things. And actually, truth be told, it wasn't I that realized it, it was my own kids
Right. Right.
that realized it. And
Yeah.
I just wasn't taking heed to what they were telling
Right.
me at the time, because I guess you could say I was blinded
Right.
by love.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's what it is. A lot of people that's on the outside looking in, they always see it first, and
Right.
you don't want to see it because, like you say, you were blinded by love. So when he was released, you moved in immediately together.
Yes, he moved in with me. I had my own place.
Okay.
I was staying with my own everything.
Okay. Okay.
He moved in with me, and then we just started doing odds and ends things together, and one thing led to another. He started venturing out shortly after we had moved in
Right,
together,
right.
and things, I mean,
We started to
just
decline
started
after
to,
that.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
What was that moment? What was that first time that he physically put his hands on you? What was it that you had done, or he said you had done, that made him think he had the right to put his hands on you?
I guess you could say the first time that I really hadn't thought about it, but when he did put his hands on me, I would say it was something that I said, to where once I said it, it was like out of the ordinary for him to have the response that he received from
Right.
me, and that there alone caused one punch
Right.
or slap.
Right.
And it wasn't on a continuous thing. It was always followed up by, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do it,"
Yeah.
or "You made me do
Flowers.
it," or something like that. Or
Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
what it is. You know, you're an adult, I'm an adult. How can I make you do something?
Right.
That's a coward, you know,
Right.
line or whatever. So, and you said it wasn't continuous, but how often was it? And I know it seems like it was happening for little bitty minor stuff or whatever. And did you at that time tell anybody about it, or did you just try to hide what you were going through?
no, I didn't. Well, once I started seeing little small signs of things coming up missing, or one of my sons coming asking me, "Mom, did you take my money, my gun, my,"
Okay.
and I'm like, "No, I did not."
So he began stealing.
He began stealing.
Okay.
Yes, and I'm like, I don't know where any of this stuff is.
Right,
So
right.
I then asked him, "Hey, did you take anything from here?" And he responded with the answer of no. And so there was time for me to go to work one particular night, because I was still on graveyard shift at that time at the prison. No, not at the prison. Yes, at the prison.
Mhm.
I called his mom and asked his mom, had she seen him or anything, because I was looking for my car.
Right.
Lo and behold, she hadn't seen him. Then I also followed up by asking her, have he been known for taking things? And that's when everything started coming out
Okay.
to my eyesight,
Okay.
and really opening my eyes as well as my kids. So
Right.
then everything started kind of falling in line as to me being on my P's and Q's,
Right.
watching certain things that I fell short of, as far as just living the outside life,
Right,
the
right.
street life,
Exactly.
as we call it, because
Exactly.
I
Because
wasn't
you
a
never
street
knew that
girl.
type of life.
Right.
Exactly. Okay. And that's really understandable, because we want to see the best in people all
Right.
the time, but then when they start showing us the signs, then we have to. So when you started seeing the signs, and you had approached him about it the first time, asking him about, did he take this, did he take that? You knew he was lying. You knew he was lying.
Yes, I
You
did.
knew he was lying.
Yes.
So as time went on and he started to disappear more, or things began to disappear more, did you become more and more afraid to ask him? Did he take it for fear that he would hit you or something?
No, I didn't, because at that time all of my boys were still at the house
Okay.
with me
Okay.
at that time. So I kind of felt like I had protection because I did have my boys, my sons there.
Okay.
Even though they were younger, they were still there
Yeah.
with me, and they weren't going to let
Him do
anyone
anything.
do anything to me. So I felt
Pretty safe.
pretty safe,
Okay, so and then at that time when you started confronting him about it, and when you started to notice things and ask him things, and he would, I'm sure, constantly tell you, no, we didn't do it, no, we didn't take it, those
Right.
kids are lying,
Right.
whatever.
Yes.
Did you have family members or friends around to keep just insisting in your ear that why are you still with him? Why are you taking all this? You too good for that. You too good for him. Did you have that? Did you have to deal with that?
Whew, I had that so many times,
Yeah.
and being the person I am, yes, I did. I ignored
Right.
what they most likely saw before I did,
Right. And a
and
lot of times we do that.
I was so in love with this person, thinking to myself that, oh, when he's not on drugs, he's not stealing, he's not this, that he's the perfect person.
Right.
When in reality, he really wasn't, and I just, looking back now, I just feel like I should have listened and didn't.
Yeah, but and then God takes us through things to make us stronger, dealing
Right.
with certain things like that. And so I'm sure it was a lot of, girl, you crazy, I wouldn't take that if that was me, blah, 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 blah. I'm sure it was a lot of that, but God brought you out when he brought you out.
He did.
So the drugs is what made him start stealing and taking things. He was trying to get money for drugs.
You can say that, however, I feel like he was, once I found out why he was actually incarcerated, the drugs played a role. So him stealing, just taking whatever to feed his habit,
Right,
he did what he did,
right.
which was lie, steal, cheat, whatever to get
Whatever
from
it
whomever. I mean, mostly from my family, from my kids, because it was all right there in his sight.
Right.
I mean, how can you look back and this kid's in the house and he's
Right.
walking out right in front of him with the whole laptop system, the whole
Wow.
computer system.
So he's being real bold with it, just start taking
He
it in
was-
front of
He was,
everybody.
yes, he was bold enough to let me know that he did it
And
right
at
in
that
front of the
point,
kid.
because sometimes you feel like when he's lying to you, he's still trying to hide something from you. But once he's bring it out and yeah, I got it, yeah, I did it, then you've
Yes.
lost all respect for me. You don't care about what I got, what I'm going through, what my kids are going through. It's just all about you.
Right. It was all
And
about
so,
him.
and that is just so crazy. We'll be back in a moment to talk more with Miss Kristy Teal. We'll take a short break. Back with Miss Kristy Teal, and we're talking about domestic abuse, and she's talking about her situation and her lifestyle of being an abused woman, then eventually an abused wife with this man that she was in love with. Kristy, now, a lot of women sometimes get in an abusive relationship and stay in an abusive relationship because of fear of being alone or because of being insecure with themselves. Is that what happened with you? Did you get into a relationship? Were you fearful of being alone, or were you insecure about, thinking that you were never gonna, be with anybody or whatever? What was your situation?
No, it wasn't that I was in fear of being alone or never going to be with anybody else. It was just something that happened.
Right.
It just happened. Fell in love, and love just took control.
And that happens. So, and now remember one time you and I were talking, and you said at the time that the abuse did start. You guys were just living together, dating, and you eventually got married. What would make you marry this man after being abused for so many years?
It was like for beginners, we weren't even dating too long before we wasn't even dating, not even a year and a half. So
Okay.
the marriage happened
Yeah,
really quick
Okay.
after we moved in together.
Okay.
I knew this, or shall I say, I thought that's who I wanted to be with. Married him, made plans and everything, moved in together,
Right.
and just one thing after another from there with the marriage. As far as the abuse goes, he was all good with get up, cook, even though he didn't have a job.
Right.
He knew I was the one working. I would go to work, and once I came home, dinner would be fixed, house clean, everything that.
And that was something that was something you appreciated.
Right, I appreciated that.
Right, and not to say that it wasn't a good thing, but my thing is, if you're getting up, going to work, and he's not working or what, a lot of women do. That's the way a lot of men, to me, bait women in. They want to cook and they want to clean the house. They want to cook the food that you bought.
Right.
Clean the house with the supplies that you. I mean, if you're here all day, then why not do it? You know what I'm saying? But a lot of women appreciate that. You see what I'm saying? And it's not to be not appreciated, but at the same time, the men feel like they done did like so much because, you know, if the food wasn't here, you wouldn't have cooked it because you're not going to go out and buy it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? If the cleaning supplies wasn't here, you wouldn't have cleaned because you're not going to go out and buy it. You see what I'm saying? Everything that you're cooking, everything that you're cleaning with, I bought. So, and that's how a lot of women get baited in because I go to work every day, but honey, when I come home, my dinner on the table, my house is clean, and blah blah blah. Okay, and that's how that happens. But that is nothing short of him. That is nothing short of him still baiting you in, you know, thinking that, you know what I mean, and not to say put you down because you learned from it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But there are women out there that are going through the exact same thing right now, and they think, oh, my man cooking me out. It's nothing. It's nothing because your man didn't buy it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Your man not paying the bill that he's using the electricity to clean the stove, you know, to cook on the stove and all that. You see what I'm saying? So, and I just want to say that to a lot of women, or you can say it to a lot of women, don't fall for it. Don't fall for it because everything that he's doing with the things that is there are things that you put there.
It's everything that you yourself bought or done.
Exactly. So please, ladies, don't fall for it. And today's society is so scary, especially for these younger women in their early 20s. It's so scary to almost impossible to leave a relationship without being threatened with your life or without being killed, or if I can't have you, no one can. You know, did you ever experience that?
Yes, I did on multiple occasions. When the beatings first started, I actually had called a friend which lived at that present time in Joshua, Texas, to let me come stay there with them until I got myself back up on my feet. And lo and behold, he would never leave, but the friend was already on their way to come and pick me up with my clothes. So I'm like,
you were needing him to leave the house.
I was needing him to leave the house. However, he would not. He did not.
He felt it.
So once she came, I'm like, okay, we need a place to stay. And with her being a friend that she was then, she let both of us come stay.
Okay. So you ended up leaving with him?
I ended up leaving with him. So I'm still in the situation I was trying to run away
with an extra person.
With an extra person.
That you involved in it.
Yes, and it just got worse out there because then we were segregated from my family. Yes, so that made it even worse.
Oh my goodness, it had to be scary.
It was because I didn't know nobody out there in Joshua. She was away in military.
Oh my goodness.
Her husband, he stayed there. He had to work also in the daytime. So in the daytime while he was at work, that's when the beatings occurred. When I tell you mentally, physically, verbally, it was all taking place. Sexually, if I didn't have sex with him, that was a beating within itself.
Wow.
I'm cheating on him.
Wow.
If I didn't give him money, if I didn't wash his clothes when he wanted them to, if I asked the wrong question, any and everything that he felt like that just hurt him, I guess you could say.
Right.
That calls for a punch to the face, head, kicking, whatever. So it was a bad situation. It's like I went from one bad situation to
To
another
even worse.
because I went to where my family couldn't get to.
Right.
They did not even know I was there. It's like I ran away from my family
And with him.
with him.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was not the intention. I know that
Right.
was not the intention. Okay, so when you got down to Joshua,
Yes.
did he, I guess he had to have found someone to buy drugs from there?
No. No, he did not. The young man that and his wife that let us stay with them, they gave us use of a truck that
Okay.
was not being used.
Okay.
And I did not know how to drive a stick shift, so he did. So the only means around was with
Yeah.
him.
Mhm.
Of course, I couldn't stay at the house by myself. He wouldn't allow that, so I had no choice but to go with him.
Right.
So somehow he would manage to go in the bedroom where this couple had just loose change that they've been keeping in a tin can or whatever. And he had been stealing it. And first I thought, wow, where is he getting his money? I don't have any money left.
Right.
He don't have any money. So where's
Right.
it? Come to find out he was stealing it from them, and we get in the car. He wanted to make a run to Fort Worth, and he knew all the spots
Oh my God.
to go and get his little fix or whatever and dragging me into it. And I'm like, I have no choice, so I would just sit there and the whole time while he's in the building, I'm going through my head like, wow, how can I get out of this situation I've created?
Right. Right.
And dragging some friends of mine into it
Yeah.
that shouldn't even be a part
And
of it
that
at
is,
all.
I mean, what nerve, you are living under somebody else's roof and you are stealing from them. Because I know you weren't paying no bills, haven't paid no bills or nothing.
No bills at all. They were helping me to look for another job because I had left my job. Not left my job, I lost my job
Right,
behind him.
I'm sure.
Yes, lost my job behind him. And they know me. So with that being said, they trusted me. And once they started coming to me, asking me, hey, did you go and take some change? The last thing I wanted to be is accused of doing something that I did not do. And so, yes, my mind automatically said, please to me to it. And instead of me saying, let them know, I'm
You
like,
took up
no.
for him. You didn't really take up
I
for
didn't
him.
take up for him, but
you
I
told him you
didn't.
didn't.
Right, I told him I didn't do it, and I don't even know where no change was. You know, so I
And
guess
for him to know where the child, he had to be going around and rambling in their house.
he would do it when I was asleep, when I was in the shower, or he just any little thing that he could do to kind of throw me off, he
Right.
would do it, like wash their clothes.
Right.
Why are you washing their clothes?
Exactly. Look at the
And
child.
you're not even supposed to be in their room.
When they came to Fort Worth to get you, and I know they didn't come with the assumption that he was going back with you. When you first told them that we need a place to stay, how did they feel about that? Did they ever pull you to the side and say, "Look,
They said that they were there to help me and that they understood my needing a place to stay. However, with a man, I should never be in that situation.
Right.
But because they are and do consider themselves my friends, that's why they allowed it and took me on.
Okay.
Yes.
And then, so how long were you there? How long did you stay there?
Not too long.
Yeah.
Not too long because he started doing bad really. He started just doing some things. Yes, he started doing the most.
So, from victim to victorious, what was your turning point? What happened the day you decided enough is enough, I am taking my life back?
The turning point, I would say, well, there were many turning points.
What was that last day when you said, he's not going to hit me again, I'm done, enough is enough, I'm taking my life back? Was that your decision, or did something happen and you were just able to get out?
It was both.
Okay.
It was my decision. I had already been contemplating in my head that I was going to leave him. Just didn't know how I was going to do it.
Right.
And at that time, I feel I have family that would have my back. My kids, Lord knows, would have my back. But the turning point was I did not want my kids to keep seeing me go through this.
Exactly.
Especially my youngest son who had went away to college.
Okay.
And that last incident was he had come to the house, the apartment that we were living in together, and he it all happened just so quickly. I was sitting on my ottoman in my room, and he came, and of course I let him in because he just wanted to come and talk, so that's what I was told.
Right.
Prior to my opening the door, I went back to sitting on my ottoman. He went into the living room, sat down, and next thing I know, he got up, and he came and he looked under the bed in the room where I were. Then he pulled the blinds back to, I guess, check to see if the windows were locked, and then went to the door and locked it. And the next thing I know, out of the peripheral vision of my eyes, I was stunned by a blow to the face.
Right. Just for no reason.
For no reason.
Hadn't even said a word to you.
He hadn't said a word, and after that first blow, he said, "So now do you want to talk?" And I had no choice because I was there for one by myself. He had to lock all the doors.
Right.
Every weapon that I had, he had already taken it.
Wow.
One of my sons lived in the same complex, but I couldn't get to my phone because he took my phone. So I'm like, "Yeah, what do you want to talk about?" And his questions just kept coming. "So you don't want to be with me no more? So what did I do? Don't I do enough for you? Blah, 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 blah." And the whole time I'm like, "No, I don't want to be with you no more." Another blow. So every time I gave him an answer that was not for him, I was met with a blow to the face, to the head, to whatever. So eventually I started screaming so that hopefully my neighbors, somebody would hear me.
Right.
Nobody did, but the screams, I just took every ounce in my body, just kept screaming.
Right.
And in my mind, I was having backflashes from when I just got off of work. He came dressed up like a woman with his t-shirt tied like a halter top, something wrapped around his head like women be, wearing the turbans or whatever around their head, twisting, and just as I put the key in my door, I'm shoved to the floor, just constantly kicked, beaten, stepped on, and everything. Then finally he drags me up and pulls me into the room, at which time I'm still trying to scream and fight and kick my way out of it.
Right.
And he then takes his hand and put it on my throat and started squeezing, till I almost lost consciousness. And right before I thought I was going to lose consciousness, he let go. And at that time, he sat there, kneel down in front of me and asked me, why am I leaving him? And all I could think of, after all this, you can sit here and you just done. Yes, why would I stay? And so I snaps back from that and go back to him pulling a pillow over my face, smothering me because I was screaming, wouldn't stop screaming. And at that time, family was in the house, but they was in another part of the house.
Was
so
it your family or his family?
It was my family. It was my family.
They didn't want to get involved?
I don't think they wanted to get involved. I don't think my sister and her boyfriend heard because they were on the opposite end of the house. Gotcha. My nephew, he's just my nephew, so I don't think he was paying any attention with what was going on. A lot of backflashes with everything that he had taken me through, from my getting out the shower. My sister had let us move in because we literally had got put out of the same apartments that my sister stayed in. But she let us go in and take on one of the other bedrooms. And because he was wanting sex, and at that time, I'm like, I'm done. I don't know who you done laid up with.
Right,
You know,
right.
I'm thinking all this here. I ain't never had nothing, don't want nothing.
Right.
So, no. So I go get in the shower, come back in. So I thought I was going to get the rest. Lo and behold, he's hiding behind a door.
You just
Shoves me to the bed, and just took what he wanted. Yes.
So he just pretty much raped you.
He raped me. My whole marriage basically has been, I'm gonna say maybe 70% of my marriage was based off of rape, because I would say no, and once I found out he had been cheating, 3 months into our getting married, conceiving a baby
Oh my God.
and another baby, that was just all too much for me. So yes, he raped me, he beat me, used me as a punching bag, choked me, whatever he wanted to do. And he knew I was that person that didn't like to get my family involved.
Right.
Because my family is not a skirt family, but my family do have their side that if they get involved, they're going to prison.
Right.
And that's what I didn't want for my family.
Your family, family.
Right.
It had been so long. Eventually, I know you realized that it wasn't love. So at that point, why did you continue to stay?
Scared. Nowhere to, at that time, felt like nowhere to run to.
Right.
Who could I trust?
Right.
Oh, they're going to talk about me. It's my fault. My best friend is not my best friend, because I felt like the one time I go to your house, I tell you I need help. You
Yeah.
turn your back on me. You don't want the problems at your house. My own baby brother, he did the same thing. He didn't want it brought to his family. That hurt me significantly.
Yeah.
So I was just hurt. There was one time when I actually pulled up at my best friend's house, just parked in the parking lot. She did not even know I was out there crying and had just been beat on. And so I sat there long enough. Then eventually I turned around and I just pulled off. I just felt like I had nowhere to go, nowhere to turn to, nobody I could trust or tell my problems to, somebody to just lean on, talk to.
Right.
Just hear me. Don't give me
Don't
your
give me
opinion.
no
Just
advice. Yeah. Just
hear
listen
what
to
I'm
me.
saying. This is what I've been going through. My baby boy is the one that the repercussions is hard with me. I can't get none of that time back.
Right.
But you know I love him.
Yeah.
And to this day, I still tells him that everything I did, trying to get away from that situation, I did it for him, giving him to my oldest son to take care of him. He wasn't wanted for anything.
You made his life better.
I tried to make his life better. He went to college. He did graduate high school, because he was about 13 years old. And when it first started happening, he was the main one coming telling me, Mom, Tuck is cheating on you. He's this, he's that. He's the one that caught him with his own cousin's girlfriend in my son's bedroom having sex. He's the one that caught my husband at his so-called friend's house with his mom dating. He was telling me all this, and I wasn't trying to listen.
And you were hearing him, you knew it was true, but you was not trying to receive that.
Right.
And with you sending him away, I'm pretty sure it was mixed feelings by him, like, Mama, what did I do? I was only trying to help you.
Right.
And he probably felt like, she's sending me away and all I'm trying to do is help her, but you were sending him away to help him.
Right.
And at the age of 13, he didn't understand that, because he probably felt like he did something without telling you.
He didn't understand, and for neighbors to come and ask me, why is your son walking around crying like he lost his best friend? Once I seen it with my own eyes, that hurt me deeply. It hurt me even more so to this very day that our relationship is not like it used to be. A lot of people say you shouldn't have a favorite son. He's not my favorite. I tell all my boys they are all my favorite. He's the spoiled one. He's the strong one. He's the one that he has mama's back.
Yeah.
He gonna give me a hard time, but he has his mama's back.
And that's all that matters. And a lot of people don't realize, and if it's any women going through domestic violence right now, you don't realize, especially if you have kids involved, they are watching that, and especially you women, if you have daughters that are involved and they see this man, your boo, hitting on you and slapping on you and taking sex whenever he gets ready, in their eyes, that is acceptance.
Right.
In their eyes, that is acceptance because they figure, hey, my mom did it, so it can't be anything wrong with it. And then ladies, if you have sons, you know, you want to have the type of man in their life that you want them to become one day. You don't want them to become a man that's abusing other women and that's, you know, doing all this foolishness to other women. You don't want that. So as women, as leaders, role models, mothers, we have to be that example, that good example to our kids and try to make them understand that what we are doing what's best for them. If you're going through an abusive relationship, please try your best to hide it from your kids because they don't get it. They don't understand. All they know is that this man is beating on my mama. What right does he have?
Right.
You know, so ladies, if you're going through that, please get away from it.
Get away from it. And it traumatizes the kids because still today, like I said before, my son and I, my baby boy, we are not where we used to be. The love is still there, very strong, but I feel it in here that it's not there. And he knows I feel it in there, and he has pretty much told me that we are not what we used to be because of what I allowed to happen. And I did. I would say I allowed it to happen.
And then you have to tell him, son, pray about it and ask God to help you to let it go. Because that's what you had to do. You have to pray about it and ask God to help you to let it go because you are mother and son.
Right.
You are mother and son. And a son has a mother. Like you said, if anything ever came down, there's no doubt that he'll be there. But then you still want that everyday regular relationship.
Right.
Also with your son. So I'll be praying for you. So at today, right now, how long have you been out of the relationship, and in your mind, do you feel free from him, or do you still feel that you are being held captive by him?
I am free from him and have been for, I'm going to say maybe the past 6 years. The last 4 years he was locked up doing time for the last incident with myself. But prior to that, we were already split up, though granted he would periodically come around unexpectedly. About maybe 3 years before that. And then as far as my mind goes, all I can do is hope, pray, and wish that one day I will be completely free. But as far as right now, I would say I'm still in bondage because I still hear where if the slightest little noise, especially at nighttime, crinkling of a door or somebody knock on the door, I'm always looking over my back. Because nothing has changed about myself other than my residence. I still work the same place. I still go to my mom's, etc., etc. And all those destinations he do know about. My routine, it changed up just a slight bit, but I feel like I shouldn't have to change up my whole life just to get away from this. When all I want him to do is go do you, stay in wherever you are, Timbuktu, and just leave me alone, and we'll be okay. We don't ever have to be friends. Much love, I forgive you, but other than that,
because you don't have any kids together.
Right, no, we do not. Thank God, we do not.
Yes. Well, I will definitely be praying for you, and I'll be praying your strength, and I will be praying for you and your son's relationship, and because it has to be hard. And I'll be praying for your mindset, because you know, and I know you're a woman of Christ, so you know God can remove all that.
Right.
You know He can remove all that, and all you have to do is just go to Him and ask Him. Well, I thank you for coming on, telling your story, helping someone. You are definitely me. I don't know if you know what me is. Me, MEI. She is definitely motivated, she is empowered, and she is inspired. And she is inspiring. So I thank you for coming, tell me your story, and with hopes she helps someone. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.